VAT in art sale. This is Simon, the CPA of Dongnam Accounting Corporation based in Seoul, Korea. We are a member of Elliott Global Alliance, which is an international network of CPAs and lawyers around the world. VAT in art sale. This is prescribed in Article 26 of the VAT Act. Supply of creative work of art shall be exempt from VAT. Creativity. The important word creativity, supplying the creative work of art, CWA, is subject to VAT exempt. This means where a work of art is considered creative, it will be VAT exempt. Otherwise, it will be VAT taxable, 10%. So the concept of being creative is the criterion to determine the VAT taxability. However, the concept of being creative is not 100% clear, so this is often the bone of contention between tax office and taxpayer. There are a lot of disputes, and then there are a lot of authoritative interpretations. One of the authoritative interpretations say CWA is the work of a specific artist, which is inventive and ingenious, not an imitation, and has some degree of originality. This is usually judged based on the course of creation, method of creation, etc. So this is the realm of factual judgment. So it is difficult. This sometimes requires originality of the level, which can be protected by copyright law. Mass production imitating an original cannot be creative. Print and photo. Mass production imitating an original cannot be subject to VAT exemption. It is not easy to tell how many are mass production. However, in the case where there are multiple editions, it is needed to judge it carefully. Print and photo are some controversial issue. Print is basically with the premise of reproduction. However, it is also acknowledged as one of the art genre. When the artist writes down the serial number together with signature, it is not construed as simply reproduction. Especially the artist's proof is acknowledged for its rarity. Photo has more characteristics of reproduction than print. However, like the case of print, when the number of reproduction for one film is strictly controlled, it can also be appreciated its originality. Print and photo directly produced from artists' hands are usually considered as creative. However, the real application to VAT law depends on the number of reproduction, signature and seal of the artist, and serial number, blah blah. Creativity, the foremost condition to VAT exemption. Once the work of art is appreciated as creative, the sale of CWA is subject to VAT exempt. It doesn't matter whether the seller is an individual or a corporation, art dealer, gallery, or auction company. It also doesn't matter whether the sale is for profit or for charity. It is okay when the CWA is sold at the department store or distribution center anywhere, even in the sold domestically or to overseas. What is important to determine VAT taxable or exempt is the existence of creativity. If a certain work of art has a creativity, VAT exemption will follow with no other conditions attached. Import of CWA into Korea. When the custom tax rate is 0, VAT rate is also 0. So if any CWA is exempt from custom tax, it is also exempt from VAT. Based on Custom Tax Act on antiques, porcelain, musical instrument, other, over 100 years old are subject to 0 rate. So there is also no VAT on the import of them. If a certain rate of custom tax is levied by Korea Customs Service, VAT also will be assessed. In the case of some work of art, like mass-produced imitation, which is not accepted as CWA, the custom tax is not zero, so VAT also will not zero. In the case of traveler's belongings, an item with the amount of $600 or less, and for the traveler's own use, the custom tax is exempt, so is the VAT. VAT exemption to services provided by artists. To enjoy this VAT exemption, following three conditions should be met at the same time. Firstly, individual. This exemption is only to individual. Therefore, when the corporation does the same service, it is VAT taxable. For instance, an artist drew a portrait as an individual, the fee is VAT exempt. However, if this service is performed by a corporation, by its employee, the fee will be VAT taxable. Number two, second condition is without any physical facility. Physical facility means any business facility used solely for the business purpose continuously and repeatedly. The third condition is without any hired workers, should work independently with no hired workers. So in practice, an individual working alone, the number one, with no registration with the tax office at all, or number two, with the registration tax office and the business place is at his or her residential home. In this case, the residential home is not considered as physical facility, so he can be exempt from VAT. VAT exemption to art fair or biennale. Cultural event is VAT exempt when it is not for profit. So not for profit is very important. It doesn't matter whether the organizing party is a company for profit or not. Charity, profit, doesn't matter. The cultural event is not a profit does not necessarily mean that event is free of charge. Event income for compensating actual expenses, donation income, sponsor income is allowed. When the income exceeds expenses, there remain actual profit, and the profit is used for non-profit activity or donated to other organizations for same cause. The cultural event is appreciated as not for profit, thus VAT can be exempt. And when the food or beverage is sold at the event venue, it is basically VAT taxable. However, the profit from the sale is used for the purpose of the cultural event, for not for profit, it will be VAT exempt. We have a reference. This article is referenced by the book titled Art and Tax Expanded Version 2022, written by Mr. Kwon Min, the CPTA in Korea, Certified Public Tax Accountant. I thank him a great deal for his vast knowledge and inspiration. Thanks for being with us. For details, please do not hesitate to contact below email. Thank you very much.